What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be taking a look over here at the total altcoin market cap and the Bitcoin price chart. Of course, we'll peek around at the altcoins as well because we have a pretty big red day over here in the market. So we'll also peek over there at the stock market too. They're experiencing the same thing in the stock market. It's a lot of fear and worry out there right now with events that are going on over in China, adding to the narrative, the big deleveraging event, adding to the worry that is this going to spread worldwide? Is everything going to be impacted? Now, that may be for another video to really deep dive into all of that, but the reality is throughout the entire world, debt is piled to the ceiling and broken through the ceiling and shooting off into the sky, the amount of debt in the world. I've often said that eventually the Great Depression will come. Is it right now? Hard to tell. Is this just a warning shot that's being fired across the bow, or is this the actual first shot fired? A little early to tell on something like that, but the fear, of course, is going to immediately be the sky is falling. Fortunately for the cryptocurrency market, last Friday we were deep diving into this, talking about an ABC correction coming in for the total altcoin market cap. Technical knockback, ABC correction, cup and handle. After this, we pull back down into this level, line you up for a $1.8 trillion altcoin market. But let's take a peek a little bit closer at what's going on. I do see some optimistic things out there in the market right now. Hopefully this whole thing happening here isn't surprising you. I think the thing that kind of scares everybody is the narrative that's coming along with it, right? Is there going to be severe consequences, and is this whole debt issue going on with the builders over there in China going to spread into the banks and then spread further and further and further and go crazy throughout the whole world, right? So that's what everybody's kind of fearing right now. And I do believe an event like that will come one day, but is that day today? I don't know. The thing that I look at and focus more on is what's going on with the charts. The thing that we were looking at here on the total altcoin market cap is how we had a pinpoint precise nail of the 702 Fibonacci retracement level for an ABC correction back to that level. And it was lining up and looking possible that we were going to be having a complete ABC correction back down into here, which would come back and back test this kind of $1 trillion price level, because we've seen that happen on charts previously before it goes off. In addition, a measured move from right down in here sends us off to a $1.8 trillion market cap. Why does $1.8 trillion matter? Because that's exactly what a 4.236 Fibonacci extension would be of the entire bull run. So it would make sense for us to pull back down into that $1 trillion price level, as it would give us a measured move out to a full extension right here. If you didn't catch Friday's video, I did outline this and go through all of it here back on this video right here on Friday. So hopefully people aren't too surprised about what's going on in today's market. The thing, of course, is there's a narrative to go along with it, which does make it kind of scary, right? But here's where we're at right now, right? So if we look at just the total altcoin market cap, it would say, hey, it hasn't reached down far enough yet, right? But we're going to look at other things in the market that are kind of contradicting that, hey, there are some signs that some things may already have hit their bottoms. Now, Bitcoin doesn't say that to me, right? Bitcoin still says, hey, if it's going to follow along with that, that's the price area it's got to get down to, about $41,000. It's pretty close, but Ethereum is a really interesting one because Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency in the cryptocurrency market, well, the Ethereum price chart has gotten down to that price level, or at least really close to it. I'm looking at us over here on Coinbase, one of the most high volume exchanges for Ethereum. And the thing that I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the volume that's coming in here. And if we take a peek at what happened as the price got down into this price level on the 2-hour time frame, look how much buy volume happened here once again. We know that when we looked at it on the 1 hour back in here, how much buy volume came in here. When we look on the 2 hour, we can see how much buy volume came in right again at this price level. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see the 4 hours lining up nicely as well. Problem is, there's still an hour and 45 minutes remaining in this candle as I'm recording right now. But there's optimism right there to see that buying is exceeding the selling, and the buying is really kind of coming in right at that price level that we were looking at. So if you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, over the last several months, we've watched how the market crashed, looking for double bounce, sideways capitulation without setting a new low, breaking above this level, and then here's your back test into that price level. And it has ABC'd its way in there, right? You can clearly see an ABC with a bigger ABC. So There's still an hour and 45 minutes left on this 4-hour candle in here, but so far 4-hour looking good. And with the 2-hour close that we just had, there was certainly buyers that showed up at that time. However, the thing I can't ignore, total altcoin market cap didn't quite reach down there yet. So it's still conflicting, and I've got to go with the thought process of, hey, it could still keep going for another day or two or three, I don't know, until it actually gets down into there. But hopefully you had the opportunity to catch the video on Friday, or at least you got the opportunity to watch it throughout the weekend, that, hey, we saw that the total market cap, the total altcoin market cap did a precise 0.702 Fibonacci retrace. Without breaking through that, we had to assume an ABC was in the cards. So far, this bottom level has held for the total altcoin market cap, but I still have to stick with it that, hey, you know what? If it's ABCing, it still has further to go. And if it's going to follow the structures that we've seen before, typically it comes back down into this price level here. For the total altcoin market cap, it'd be about $1 trillion. So how ironic is that, right? The $1 trillion number happens to reside right into there, into that region. It makes a great narrative. Hey, we backtested $1 trillion. So still viewing that as being likely. But while these times never feel good, and while everybody is searching to see if the sky is falling, they're going to find all the narratives out there that they want to validate, right? In the end, when we see prices go down, what are we scared? We're scared that prices are going to keep going down. And people are going to search for narratives to validate a way to stop the pain. How do you stop the pain? You sell it, right? You run away and you sell it. So we'll search for things to validate that what we're doing is the right thing. I'll never tell you what to do. Everybody's got to make their best educated guess. But these are the types of moments where people really do panic. For me, I came into this week with the expectation that this is a likely scenario. And for that, I'm not panicking yet. Last week, we showed exactly how this scenario can play out and how you can have your A, B, C, and where does C pull back into? It pulls right back down into these price levels, which, like we just discussed here, is your crash, double bouncing, sideways capitulation. So where does it pull back into? To where this resistance level was at right in here. And we can see how it does pull back down into that price level, and then it shoots on its way to the upside. So as the total altcoin market cap is doing something similar to that, I'm not worried. It makes sense to have an ABC correction after hitting a 702 Fibonacci retracement with pinpoint precision. I mean, you can't get any more precise than that. We see Ethereum coming down into this price level already, and we do see volume stepping its way in right here on the 4-hour time frame and with a 2-hour close already on Coinbase. But I do recognize that the total altcoin market cap hasn't gotten down that far, so in my mind, I say, look, it seems likely if it's going to follow this for the total market cap of all of crypto, there's probably still more downside to go for today. If not, hip hip hooray, let's keep going. But otherwise, my expectations are, you know what, if it's going to finish this ABC, ABCs typically set new lows, and you can see that that low did hold right there for the total altcoin market cap, but we'll just have to wait and see. Good news is it's not too much further down to the downside. We'll see if it holds. My expectation is going to be that it will. Looking at the Bitcoin price chart again, as we talked about last week, as I talked about earlier in this video, still, it would make more sense for Bitcoin to continue coming back down into this kind of $40,000 to $41,000 price level. As for the XRP price chart, we've spent a lot of time comparing this to Bitcoin back in 2013, 14, 15, and 16, and how with Bitcoin having this exact same setup, Bitcoin did pull back down into the capitulation level before it was able to turn its way back up. We can see XRP got very close to that, down there at 87 cents, very close. The capitulation level was there between 82 and 79 cents, which I showed you guys exactly this right in here. You can see how this pullback is coming. You can see how this pullback right in here took us right back into this level right here where the capitulation occurred. That area is somewhere right in here. What the exact cent is, I don't know, but we know that the correction structure that occurred here for XRP over the last several months has mirrored exactly what happened with Bitcoin in a major correction, and that the pullback did bring it back down into that level. So we're almost there, not quite there yet. And since we're not quite there yet on XRP, we're not quite there yet on the total altcoin market cap, and it's looking more likely that, hey, probably going to be down here for a couple of days. Time is nearly impossible to predict. That's just my best guess. But since we haven't quite gotten there yet on XRP, we haven't quite gotten there on the altcoin market, I mean, that's really the best I can do. Now, let's talk about the broader perspective of what's going on with Bitcoin, right? So we know that Bitcoin had a big crash that started there. It began in April, and then pulled all the way down, and we got back up into these retracement levels, not quite hitting the 702 Fibonacci retracement, and now pulling back. We can see today we have back tested this level right in here, the 382 Fibonacci retracement level. Lots of bears out there screaming, that's it, it's over, it's time for Bitcoin to crash. Time will tell if that's true. We know we've gotten back up into retracement levels. The big question is, are we going to break through the Fibonacci retracement levels now? Are we mustering up the energy to be able to go back and break through them to the upside? So long as we're underneath all these retracement levels in here, danger is certainly present for Bitcoin. Now, I've flipped us over here to the inverse price chart of Bitcoin. So essentially, we're looking at the Bitcoin price chart upside down over the course of the last 4 years. So this is 2017. Here's the top coming in right there at the end of 2017, the big crash that happened. And we're looking at Bitcoin upside down. My argument has been that we have a very clear structure that's happening over here on the Bitcoin price chart when I look at it from the inverse perspective. I've deep dived into this crashing structure before, and I'm calling it crashing because we're looking at it from the upside down perspective. But obviously, this is a giant bull run happening here in Bitcoin, and that we have very clear waves that have happened in here where we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then as we head down, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, complete the 5th wave. We roll back up for the 6th wave, which occurs here at wave 4 within wave 5, and then price has moved down as expected, right? But what now, right? So the next expectation is that somehow, some way, Bitcoin goes on to set one new low over here on the inverse price chart, which looking at over here on the side would mean that Bitcoin sets one new high. I've shown many examples of how this particular structure plays out. I showed how it actually played out during the great financial crisis back in 2008 and 2009. I showed how it happened for Bitcoin at the end of the 2015 bear market. And I've also even shown it over here on the XRP price chart and what was happening when we were crashing during the time of when the SEC sell-off occurred. And that even over here on XRP, we had the same thing happen. We roll back up to wave 4, within wave 5 to create wave 6, then we kind of just creak our way on over here, and then we go on to set number 7. And then that was the finishing move and the end for the XRP price chart. Ended up going on its way up after that. Same thing happened for the Dow Jones. Same thing happened for the end of the bear market for Bitcoin back in 2015 and 16. And that by applying the same logic by looking at the inverse price chart of Bitcoin to see that we've been doing the same thing over here on Bitcoin as we've done previously. And you can see how here with XRP, as we're getting ready to finally go into that last moment, how it's just creaking sideways over here like this, which is what we're seeing happening with Bitcoin right now. Today's price action seems so dramatic, it seems so crazy. When you put it on this scale, it doesn't seem that wild, but we can see how this just creaked over to the side until it finally went on to go. And that's just still what we're seeing happening over here with Bitcoin until it doesn't do it anymore, right? But even over here on the gold to silver ratio, which I've got up here on the top. Now, if you guys know something about me, I'm a huge silver and gold stacker, but over the last year, I haven't been focusing on silver. A lot of people have been sitting there screaming, Wall Street bets, silver squeeze and stuff like that. While the prices of silver have been high to me, I've been kind of waiting for these prices to come back down to like $18 to $20 for me to really resume my silver stacking vigorously like I enjoy doing. But as these prices have been higher lately, it hasn't been of interest to me. Whenever I'm posting kind of metals charts over there on Twitter, it's really been more focused on gold, and it has a lot to do with what's been going on over here on the gold to silver ratio. And even with the gold to silver ratio, as this fall has happened here since March of 2020, we can see the same phenomenon occurring over here where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within the 5th wave of the gold to silver ratio, and that it rolls back up to wave 4 within wave 5 for 6, creaks sideways, and then finally, what does it do? It goes on and sets its final moment. And that's really been my expectation for Bitcoin. And I keep talking about how my expectations are not that Bitcoin's going to $100,000 or that there's some significant amount left over there in Bitcoin. That these are the things that I'm looking at. That I still expect one new high left in Bitcoin, but not very much. But in the end, for all of these things to play out, for it to continue this structure by looking here at the inverse price chart of Bitcoin, and for a new high to get set for Bitcoin, It's got to get through all of these first. And so long as it's underneath all of them, it's the big danger, right? So in 2017, it was the 702 Fibonacci retracement level that sent it way off into a bear market that lasted for years. And a lot of us were here during the entire bear market. So there's always that worry and concern about that. But we've got to get through those retracement levels. But still, I stick with it until it's just invalidated. If a new low gets set in Bitcoin or something like that, throw it all out the window. I'm going to be in the belief that we're in a bear market if a new low gets set for Bitcoin. And I've been in the camp that if we go into an actual bear market with Bitcoin, we'll see sub $15,000 prices for Bitcoin. But the good news is, I don't think we are. I still think that it's going to break out into that new high. But I hope I kind of can get to show you there by showing you all those other charts and what happened with those, like what happened with the XRP price chart, what happened with the gold to silver ratio, what happened over here with the Dow Jones during the great financial crisis. Once it finally took out this level, there wasn't much more. That was the finishing move of the Dow Jones and the bottom came in here. And I'm expecting that if Bitcoin sets a new high, that's all you're going to get. You're just going to get this one incredible moment where Bitcoin goes up into the new highs. Everybody's screaming for 300,000, S2F model, 100K, diamond hands, laser eyes, all that kind of stuff. But that's the end of Bitcoin. If we get this moment right here, which would really just be a moment like this, and then that's it, off into a bear market, Bitcoin goes. And I know a lot of people don't like that. But that's okay. This is, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an investment advisor. It's not investment advice. Do your own research. It should just be a part of your research. Hear my argument. You determine whether or not you think it's valid or not. But otherwise, as we try to get through today, right, the Dow Jones down 500 points, the S&P 500 down 70 points, just a red day over there in the U.S. stock market. You can see gold and silver are somehow holding themselves up today. I like seeing that, but keeping eyes over here on what's going on with the total altcoin market cap, as it has found some support at the low that was set back there on September 7th. And if we're going to get the remainder of an ABC correction, and while another hour has passed since I've started recording this video, we can see that the 4-hour volume for Ethereum is still ramping up, but still 36 minutes to go. And so I hope that you kind of enjoyed this video. I really want, in these big red days, I try to, still keep my cool because I know these are the days where emotions are running really high. People are scared and nervous. And I'm just showing you the things that I see and with the way my mind works, right? I try to show you the Bitcoin price chart, what's happening with that structure from the inverse perspective. That's still my broader global view of what's happening with Bitcoin. And my opinion is that the altcoins are going to follow along when that moment does come for Bitcoin. Wanted to show you what's going on with the total altcoin market cap, the levels that I'm looking for the prices to get down to, which is exactly what we've seen for the whole structure as we've worked our way up over the last several months. It's exactly what we've seen happen in the past, that it does come down to about that $1 trillion price level. That would be normal. And that while the world is screaming the end of times today, that's not what's going on in my head. And hopefully you found value in the things that I showed you today. And here we go. Enough time has elapsed during editing for me to try to capture the last seconds of this 4-hour candle over here on Ethereum to see if we get this huge green volume. And sure enough, we did. So huge green volume shows in to buy Ethereum right down here in this price level, and we'll take it. But all right, that's going to be it. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope that you're having an okay day, or at least that it made your day a little bit better. If you're looking for something to do, you can check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs and the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show you how the cryptocurrency market has worked in the past in regards to Bitcoin bull run extensions and altcoin seasons. I talk about my personal exit plans in here and teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. Talk a lot about mathematics and percentages in here and show you why I think those things are so important. I do have some market updates down in here. Most recent one is August 31st, available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls. And you can check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.